No one suspected the doctor. Not when the first patient died. Not when the second one disappeared. Because in this village, he was the only man people trusted with their lives. But trust can be dangerous. Especially when it's given to the wrong person. The village of Kitola was small, quiet, and far from everything. There were no big hospitals. No ambulances. No second opinions. There was only one man. Dr. Sefu. He had arrived years ago, when sickness had spread through the village like fire. Children were dying. Elders were weak. People had lost hope. And then he came. With medicine. With calm words. With answers. Within weeks, people started recovering. Fevers dropped. Pain faded. Life returned. From that day on, no one questioned him. If Dr. Sefu said something, it was truth. If he gave medicine, it was healing. At least, that's what everyone believed. The first disappearance didn't cause panic. A young man named Jabari had gone to the doctor for a simple fever. Nothing serious. He never came back. People said maybe he left the village. Maybe he ran away. No one blamed the doctor. Why would they? Then it happened again. An old woman. Weak, but not dying. She was taken to Dr. Sefu's clinic one evening. By morning, she was gone. This time, people whispered. But whispers die quickly in a place built on trust. Weeks passed. More patients went in. Fewer came out. And those who did looked different. Their eyes were empty. Their voices, slow. Like something inside them had been taken. But no one dared to say it out loud. Because saying it would mean only one thing. The doctor was not saving them. One night, a girl named Amara stood outside the clinic. Her younger brother was inside. Burning with fever. She had brought him there herself. And now, the door was closed. Locked. No light inside. No sound. Just silence. Too much silence. Amora stepped closer. Her heart was pounding. Something felt wrong. Very wrong. She placed her hand on the wooden door. Cold. Even though the night was warm. Then she heard it. A sound from inside. Not crying. Not talking. Something else. A low, wet, dragging sound. Amara froze. Her breath stopped. And then, someone whispered from behind her. Don't knock. She turned slowly. An old man stood in the shadows. His face pale. His eyes wide with fear. He doesn't heal people, the old man said. His voice trembling. He chooses them. Amora's heart dropped. What do you mean, chooses? She asked. The old man looked at the door. Then back at her. And whispered something that made her blood run cold. He doesn't cure sickness. He paused. Then said. He creates it. Amora stepped back from the door. Her hands were shaking. That's not possible, she whispered. He saved people, everyone knows that. The old man didn't reply immediately. He just stared at the clinic. Like he had seen something no one else had. I thought the same, he finally said. My wife, she was sick. Weak, but not dying. His voice broke. I took her to him. Amora swallowed. What happened? She walked inside, the old man said slowly. And what came out? He stopped. His eyes filled with fear. Was not my wife anymore. A cold wind passed through the trees. Amora felt it deep in her bones. She turned back to the door. Her brother was inside. Alone. I have to go in, she said. The old man grabbed her arm. Hard. If you go inside, he whispered, you won't come out the same. Amora pulled away. I don't care. She pushed the door. It creaked open. Inside, the clinic was darker than it should be. Only one lantern burned in the corner. Its light flickered, weak and unstable. The air smelled wrong. Not like medicine. Something rotten. Something metallic. Hello? Amara called. No answer. She stepped inside slowly. The floor beneath her feet was sticky. She looked down. Dark stains. Old. Dried. Everywhere. Her breathing became faster. Brother, she whispered. Then she heard it again. That same sound. Dragging. Slow. From behind a curtain at the back of the room. Amora moved toward it. Each step heavier than the last. Her heart pounding louder and louder. She reached the curtain. Her hand trembled as she touched it. For a moment, she hesitated. Then she pulled it aside. And froze. On a wooden table lay her brother. Unmoving. Eyes open. But lifeless. Amora's breath stopped. Tears filled her eyes. No. Then suddenly. Her brother's fingers twitched. Her heart jumped. Wait, you're alive. But before she could move closer, a voice spoke behind her. Come. Cold. Too calm. You shouldn't be here. Amara turned slowly. And there he stood. Dr. Sefu. Watching her. Not surprised. Not angry. Just smiling. Amora couldn't move. Dr. Sefu stood in the doorway, his shadow stretching across the floor. His eyes were calm. Too calm. Like nothing in this room was wrong. You shouldn't be here, he repeated softly. Amora's voice trembled. My brother, what did you do to him? Sefu glanced at the boy on the table. Then back at her. I helped him. Helped. Amora's voice cracked. He's not even breathing. Sefu stepped closer. Slow. Measured. He was sick, he said. I removed the sickness. Amora shook her head. No, this is wrong. You're lying. Sefu sighed. Like a teacher disappointed in a student. You villagers only see what you want, he said quietly. You call it healing when pain stops, even if something else takes its place. Amora backed away. Her heart racing. What are you talking about? Sefu didn't answer immediately. Instead, he walked past her, toward the table. He placed a hand gently on her brother's chest. Watch, he said. Amora wanted to run. But her legs refused. Sefu leaned down, and whispered something into the boy's ear. A language Amora didn't understand. Low. Ancient. Wrong. The lantern flickered violently. The air grew colder. Then, her brother's body jerked. Hard. Amara gasped. Stop. What are you doing? The boy's chest suddenly rose. A deep, unnatural breath filled his lungs. His eyes moved. Slowly. Too slowly. And then, he sat up. Amora stumbled back. Tears streaming down her face. Brother. But the thing looking at her was not him. His eyes were empty. Dark. No warmth. No recognition. Sefu smiled. See, he said. The sickness is gone. Amora shook her head in horror. That's not healing, that's something else. Sefu's smile faded. For years, he said quietly, this village has been dying. Weak bodies. Weak blood. He stepped closer. I gave them strength. Amora's voice dropped to a whisper. At what cost? Sefu's eyes darkened. at the cost of what they were. Silence filled the room. Heavy. Suffocating. Amora looked at her brother again. At the empty shell standing before her. And finally understood. The people who came out of this place weren't healed. They were replaced. Her breathing became sharp. You're not a doctor. Sefu tilted his head slightly. No, he said. Not the kind you believe in. Behind Amora. She heard movement. Slow footsteps. Dragging. She turned. And her blood ran cold. Figures were emerging from the darkness behind the clinic. Men. Women. Patients. All standing still. Watching her. Their eyes empty. Their faces lifeless. But all of them, breathing. Amora's voice broke. What are they? Sefu looked at them with pride. My work, he said. Then he looked back at her. And this time, his smile was not calm. It was hungry. And now, he whispered. You will understand why I chose your brother. Amora's heart was pounding so loudly, she could barely hear anything else. The figures behind her didn't move. They just stood there. Watching. Breathing. But not alive. Her brother stepped forward. Slow. Unnatural. Stop, Amara whispered, tears falling. Please, it's me. No reaction. No emotion. Sefu watched quietly. You're wasting your breath, he said. What you're looking for is already gone. Amora shook her head. No, he's still there. I know he is. Sefu's expression hardened. Hope, he said coldly, is the weakest part of a human. Suddenly, the door behind her slammed shut. Amora jumped. Her back hit the wall. She was trapped. Sefu stepped closer. The lantern light flickered across his face. For a moment, something changed. His skin. It moved. Like something underneath was trying to come out. Amora's breath caught. What are you? Sefu smiled again. But this time, his mouth stretched too wide. Far too wide. I am what your village needed, he said softly. The air grew heavier. The shadows around him deepened. I found this place dying, he continued. Rotting from the inside. Weak bodies. Short lives. His voice dropped lower. No purpose. Amora pressed herself against the wall. Fear creeping into every part of her. So I gave them something better. Sefu raised his hand slowly. The figures behind Amara reacted instantly. All of them. At the same time. They stepped forward. One step. Together. Amara gasped. They obey you. Sefu's eyes darkened. They belong to me. Another step. Closer. Amora looked around wildly. There had to be a way out. Anything. Then she saw it. The lantern. Flickering. Barely holding its flame. Fire. Her mind raced. Sefu followed her gaze. And for the first time, his smile faded. You shouldn't do that, he said quietly. Amora grabbed the lantern. Her hands trembling. Stay back, she shouted. The figure stopped. But only for a second. Sefu stepped forward. Slow. Unafraid. Fire won't save you, he said. Amora's voice broke. It's not to save me. She looked at her brother. One last time. Tears streamed down her face. It's to stop you. And then. She threw the lantern. It shattered on the floor. Flames exploded outward. Fast. Violent. The room lit up in orange. Fire spread across the ground. Climbing walls. reaching everything. The figure screamed. A sound that wasn't human. Sefu's face twisted. For the first time. Real anger. You fool, he roared. But Amora didn't stop. She grabbed a burning piece of wood and charged at him. The fire spread fast. Too fast. Within seconds, the wooden walls caught flames. The dry floor crackled. Thick smoke filled the room, burning Amora's throat. But she didn't stop. She ran straight at Dr. Sefu, gripping the burning wood like her life depended on it. Sefu didn't move. Not even when flames climbed behind him. Not even when sparks touched his skin. Fire won't kill me, he said calmly. Amara didn't answer. She swung. The burning wood struck his shoulder. Hard. Flames burst against his body. For a second, nothing happened. Then, his skin cracked. Amara froze. Dark lines spread across his face. Not like burns, but like something breaking from the inside. Something trying to come out. Sefu stepped back. Not in fear, but in irritation. You don't understand what you're doing, he said. Amora tightened her grip. I understand enough, she shot back. You're not human. Behind her, the figures began to move again. Even with the fire growing. Even with the heat rising. They kept coming. Slow. Controlled. Like nothing could stop them. Amara turned. Her brother was walking through the flames. Unaffected. Eyes empty. Reaching for her. Her heart shattered. Please, she whispered. He didn't stop. Sefu watched quietly. You see now, he said. They don't feel pain. They don't suffer. They don't die. The fire roared louder. Wood cracked. The ceiling groaned. Amora's mind raced. If fire didn't stop them, then what would? Then she noticed something. The shadows. They weren't moving with the flames. They weren't reacting to the light. They were connected. Amora looked back at Sefu. At his feet. At the dark shadow beneath him. It wasn't normal. It stretched too far. Too deep. Like it wasn't just a shadow. But a doorway. Her breathing slowed. For the first time. She understood. You're not controlling them, she said slowly. Sefu's eyes narrowed. You're connected to something. Silence. For a brief moment. The fire crackled louder than anything else. Then Sefu smiled again. But this time, it wasn't calm. It was dangerous. Smart girl, he said. The figure stopped moving. All at once. Amora held her breath. Sefu stepped closer. Flames bending around him unnaturally. But you're too late, he whispered. Suddenly, the ground beneath them trembled. The shadow behind Sefu began to grow. Stretching across the floor. Climbing the walls. Moving, like it was alive. Amora stumbled back. What is that? Sefu's voice dropped to something inhuman. It's what keeps them alive. The shadow paused. Like a heartbeat. And then, from within it, something started to rise. Not a person. Not a shape. Something far worse. Amora's hands trembled. The fire. The people. None of it mattered now. Because whatever was coming out of that shadow was the real horror. The shadow tore open. Not like light breaking darkness. But like something inside the darkness, forcing its way out. Amora couldn't breathe. The fire around her felt distant now. Irrelevant. From the shadow, a shape began to form. Tall. Twisted. Not fully solid, yet not smoke. It moved slowly. Like it was waking up. Sefu stepped back. For the first time, he showed respect. "Don't be afraid," he whispered. Not to Amara, but to the thing. Amora's voice shook. You serve that?" Sefu didn't look at her. "I don't serve it," he said quietly. "I sustain it." The creature's presence grew heavier. The air thickened. Every breath felt wrong. Then Amora realized something terrifying. The villagers. The empty ones. They weren't just controlled. They were feeding it. Every life taken. Every body emptied. Every soul removed. Was keeping this thing alive. Her heart dropped. "That's why you choose patience," she whispered. Sefu finally looked at her. And smiled. "Not patience," he said. "Offerings." Behind her. Her brother stopped moving. Frozen. The shadow paused again. Stronger. Amora took a step back. "No. I won't let this continue." Sefu's expression darkened. "You don't have a choice." The creature shifted. Turning toward her. For the first time, it noticed her. And Amora understood. She wasn't just in danger anymore. She was next. The creature moved closer. Slow, but unstoppable. The fire around them began to fade. Like something was draining its energy. Amora's heart raced. If the fire was dying, then this thing was getting stronger. Her eyes snapped to Sefu. Then to the shadow. Then back to the villagers. Connection. That was the key. Without wasting a second, Amora ran. Not away. Straight toward her brother. Sefu shouted, "Stop her." But it was too late. Amora grabbed her brother's face. Held it tightly. "Listen to me," she whispered, voice breaking. "You're still in there, fight it." For a moment. Nothing happened. Then. His fingers twitched. Sefu's expression changed. Panic. "No, that's not possible." Amora closed her eyes. Tears falling. "Come back," she whispered. The shadow behind them flickered. Weak. Unstable. The creature let out a low, distorted sound. Amora felt it. The connection breaking. She grabbed a burning piece of wood from the ground. Turned. And drove it straight into the shadow. A scream echoed. Not human. Not alive. The ground shook violently. The shadow shattered. Like glass breaking in darkness. The creature collapsed into nothing. Gone. The villagers dropped to the ground. Lifeless. Silent. Sefu staggered back. Weak. Broken. "This isn't over," he whispered. Amora didn't hesitate. She stepped forward. And pushed him into the fire. This time. He screamed. Real. Human. By morning. The clinic was ashes. The village, silent. Only Amora remained. Standing. Alive. But as she turned to leave, she noticed something. Her shadow. It moved. A second too late. If this story chills your bones, hit the subscribe button because the next one is more darker.